In this video, we're going to talk about a titration of a weak base with a strong acid. So the opposite of what we were doing before. So this time we're going to start out with weak base in our container, and we're going to add strong acid to it. So when we go to do this, the same rules apply as when we were titrating a weak acid with a strong base. We're going to need to do a BCA table for our stoichiometry to figure out, in this case, how much weak base is left after we add strong acid. And then once we're done with that, we're going to have to plug it into an ice table to figure out the concentration of OH that's going to be left behind. So when we go through this, here's our first example problem. So we're going to take a look at what happens initially in terms of pH after 25 milliliters of acid, 50 milliliters of acid, and 75 milliliters of acid have been added to our solution. So we initially are going to have 100 mils of 0.05 molar NH3 ammonia, which is a weak base. So if we're doing this initially, no acid has been added whatsoever, so we're going to do our calculation using an ice table and the Kb value for ammonia. So we're going to take our ice table, we're going to put in our initial concentrations. So initially, because we've added nothing else to it, we have no ammonium ions or hydroxide ions, it's all ammonia. So then we're going to look at our change, so minus x plus x. So approximately 0.050, we're going to assume x is small in this case. So we're going to set it equal to our Kb value, so this is our equilibrium expression, which gives us 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth squared over our initial concentration of 0.050. When we do that, we solve for x, and this time remember that x is going to be our hydroxide ion concentration. So then we need to figure out pOH by taking the negative log of our hydroxide ion concentration, and then subtract that value from 14 to get our pH, which will be 10.98. So now let's look at what happens when we add some strong acid to that base solution. So we're going to have to do a BCA table, which means we need to know how many millimoles of our base, our weak base, and our hydroxide ion concentration, how much acid was added. So to do that, we're going to take the volume times the molarity. So we had 100 milliliters of 0.05 molar ammonia, so that is 5 millimoles. We're going to do the same thing with the HCl, so it's saying that we're adding 25 milliliters of 0.1 molar HCl, multiplying those values together to get our millimoles. So we're going to put this into our BCA table. So before the reaction takes place, we have 5 millimoles of ammonia and 2.5 millimoles of our H plus ion concentration. And then we're going to look at our change. So in this case, our acid is going to be our limiting, so our strong acid is our limiting reactant. We're going to have none of that left. We're going to subtract 2.5 millimoles from 5 to get 2.5 millimoles remaining of our weak base. We have none of the acid left over, and now we've made a bunch of conjugate acid. So in this time, we have conjugate acid, not conjugate base. So we have conjugate acid, which is ammonium ions. So now that we've done our BCA table, we need to figure out what our new concentrations are. So we're going to have to take our millimoles of ammonia and put it in the total volume. So our total volume this time is going to be 100 milliliters of our initial base plus our 25 milliliters from the amount of acid that we added to it. So we're going to take our 2.5 millimoles of ammonia that was left over divided by the total volume in milliliters, which is 125. That gives us a new molarity of ammonia of 0.020. Then when we also need to calculate our concentration of our conjugate acid, so we're going to do that by taking the millimoles of our conjugate acid, dividing it by our total volume, and we'll see that that concentration is also equal, so 0.020. So now we're going to take our new concentrations and we're going to throw those into an ice table to figure out our pH. Or the shortcut for that is we can use Henderson-Hasselbalch equation for a base. So to do that, it's now POH is equal to PKB equals the log of our conjugate acid over our concentration of our weak base. So we're going to plug in those values. So we're going to have negative log of our Kb value, which was 1.8 times 10 to the negative fifth, and then we're going to take the log of our concentration of our conjugate acid over the concentration of our weak base, and we get a POH of 4.74. To get to pH, we have to subtract this value from 14, which is going to give us 9.26. So now we're going to look at what happens when we add 50 milliliters of strong acid to our weak base. So we're to start out like we did before. We have to do a BCA table to figure out how many millimoles we have remaining of our ammonia. So we're going to take our volume of our weak base times its molarity. We have 5 millimoles. We're going to do the same thing to the amount of acid that was added. So we added 50 milliliters of strong acid of 0.1 molar acid, and that's 5 millimoles. So hopefully you remember from last time, we're going to end up with 0 moles of ammonia, 0 moles of our acid left over, which means that we are at the equivalence point. But we do have a bunch of conjugate acid that is left in our solution that is going to interact with water to change our pH. So again, like last time, our pH is not going to be 7. And hopefully you realize, because this is a conjugate acid, instead of having a pH higher at the equivalence point, we're going to have a pH lower than 7 at our equivalence point because of this leftover conjugate acid. So the amount of H plus added is exactly equal to the amount of weak base in the solution. This is the equivalence point. So the major species that we have left, because we have neutralized all of our hydrogen ions and our hydroxide ions, we're going to have chlorine ions, ammonium, which is our conjugate acid, and water. So now we need to react our conjugate acid with water. Chlorine, because it is the conjugate to a strong acid, is not going to have any effect on our pH, but this will. Our conjugate acid absolutely will. So because this is a conjugate of a strong acid, no effect, but we do need to see what effect the ammonium has on water. So we're going to have to do an ice table. So if we take a look, we're going to look at the millimoles of our ammonium that was left, which is 5 millimoles from the BCA table previously, divided by our total volume, which is 150 milliliters. And so our molarity is 0.033 molar. We're going to put this into a BCA table. Sorry, not BCA table, an ice table. And so we're going to have our initial concentration of our conjugate acid is 0.33. And we're going to have our initial concentration of H3O is 0, and ammonia is also 0 because it was at the equivalence point, so the stuff that was initially in the container has been absorbed. Our change is going to be minus x plus x, so approximately 0.033 for our equilibrium concentration of our conjugate acid, and x and x for our other values. And then hopefully you realize that we were given a Kb initially, so we need to figure out its Ka for the fact that we are dealing with a conjugate acid. So to do that, Ka times Kb is equal to the water concentration, 1.0 times 10 to the negative 14th. So we're going to solve for our Ka. So our Ka value is 5.6 times 10 to the negative 10th. We're going to set that equal to x squared, right, our products, over our reactants, our initial concentration, which is 0.033. And so we're going to get an x value of 4.3 times 10 to the negative 6. Then we're going to find pH, because we have hydrogen ion concentration, by taking negative log. So our pH at the equivalence point is going to be 5.37. So whenever you are titrating a weak base with a strong acid, your pH at the equivalence point will be less than 7. It'll be more acidic because with a weak base, you are going to have a conjugate acid that is relatively strong in comparison to water. So the pH at the equivalence point in the titration of the weak base and strong is always going to be less than 7. Then our last one, now we're going to have an excess of acid. So we're doing, after we've added 75 milliliters of 0.1 molar HCl. So again, we need to do our BCA table, meaning we need to know how many millimoles we have initially. We do that by taking volume times molarity. And we're going to put this into our BCA table. So we have of our ammonia, 5 millimoles, and 7.5 of our acid, and 0 of our conjugate acid at this point. The change, so this time it's going to be ammonia that is our limiting, which means we're going to have some excess H plus ions in our solution, and then we're going to have 5 millimoles of our conjugate acid. So just like in the last situation, because we have a strong acid in our solution with our weak acid, the strong acid is going to dictate or determine the pH. So even though we have 2 acids in the solution, it's going to be the strong acid that is going to determine the pH of the solution, because its H plus ion concentration is so great that the little bit that came from our conjugate acid isn't going to have much influence. So we're going to take the concentration. And to get concentration, we have to take our millimoles divided by our total new volume. Our total new volume is going to be 100 milliliters from the initial base that was in there, plus the 75 milliliters of acid that we added, which is going to give a concentration of 0.0014 molar. So here's our new concentration of H+. So all we need to do is take negative log to get our pH. So negative log is going to be pH of 1.85. And so here is an image, so a graph of the pH versus the volume of acid added, and you can see that it slopes down the other way. We can also see that the pH is less than 7 at the equivalence point. So pH will always be less than 7 for a weak base titrated with a strong acid.